Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I will teach you a lesson on how to use nouns, how to use articles, and how to use adjectives. Okay, these three words are very important when you're learning Spanish as a basic learner, as an early learner, because they have certain characteristics that sometimes in your language these same type of words don't have, or sometimes even in your language these words don't even exist, like the article. So in today's lesson, I will teach you how to use the adjectives, how to use the articles, and how to use the nouns. But most importantly, how to use them regarding the gender. Okay. As you know, Spanish is a language that has a gender. So what's a gender? Okay. Gender is whether it's male or female. Now, this is particularly relevant when you think about languages such as, for example, French or Italian or Spanish, because they have a specific word, a specific gender for every noun, and not only the nouns that are very, like, which is obvious that they are male or female, such as, for example, in English you say man or woman, so it's one is male and one is female, because it's very, like, obvious to see. It depends on the anatomical or the biological characteristics. When you say waiter, waitress, when you say actor, actress, so that would be the closest thing to gender nouns in English. However, in Spanish we have a gender. We have nouns, and nouns have a gender, a specific gender. They can be male or female, but all of them. I mean, every single noun in Spanish has a gender. It's male or female. And it's rather confusing for some foreigners learning Spanish, because they say, how am I going to know if a table is male? How am I going to know if a chair is female or male, or a glass of water, is that male? Is it female? So it's kind of confusing. Now, the reason why this happens in Spanish, I think, is not very relevant for us, because we're not learning the history of the language, right? I guess it has to do with Latin and some other, like, things that maybe in another video I can explain. But right now, most important thing is I want to teach you, I want to let you know some hints, some clues that you can take advantage of when you're making your sentences, so that you make them properly and you use grammar properly and you don't make any mistake. Okay. So let's see here. Today, I'm going to teach you also how to use nouns, articles, and adjectives. And the first thing we have to do is, of course, define what is a noun. Okay. Now, so what is a noun? What is a noun? A noun is a word that we use to name things, basically to name objects. Okay. If you want to say it like this, the noun is a thing, the noun is an object, and the verb is the action. So basically, in order to have a language, in order to communicate in a language, in a certain language, you need to have two things. You need to have nouns and you need to have verbs. That means you need to have things, you need to have objects, and you need to do things with these objects. Okay. So nouns, examples of nouns can be, for example, city, a city, also the names of countries, names of people. For example, my name is Daniel. So when I say Daniel, the word Daniel is a noun. I mean, the category it fits into, it's a noun. When I say table, when I say glass, when I say computer, when I say waiter, all those words are nouns. And also nouns can be abstract nouns. I mean, ideas or concepts, things that you cannot really grasp, things that you cannot really grab or take with your hands. You're talking about a noun. Okay. Now, what's an article? Is uh, an article is it's another type of word that defines the noun. And what is that? I mean, why? I mean, what am I trying to say when I say that it defines? Is that the article specifies the quantity, and also it tells you how specific, how unique this noun is. So let's take it, like in English, it's very clear to see this. No, in English, when you say I want an apple, I want a book, you're talking about any specific type, any specific, you're talking about any book. Okay, you're not talking about a specific book. You say I want a book Maybe they can give me the history book, they can give me the math book, they can give me a Shakespeare book. But when you say I want the book in these sentences, most probably you are actually pointing at the book. Most probably you're like actually saying a characteristic of a book. When you say I want the red book, it's not any book, it's the red book. So what is this article doing here? The article is actually defining, is specifying the how unique and how I mean how relevant out of a group this noun is. Okay, that's an article. In some languages they don't have articles, so it's like foreign learners, they're always, they're constantly making mistakes. Well, in Spanish we have articles, and we have actually 8 different articles. Some are definite, some are indefinite. In another video I will show you this. Okay, so you watch the other video where I teach you what articles are and how to use them. Because right now here the most relevant thing is to know when they are male or female. Okay, when the nouns are male or female, but you need to take into account this notion of articles. Okay, and finally, what's an adjective? An adjective, it's a word that describes. So all adjectives are descriptive words, description words, such as fat, such as old, such as big, such as small. All these words are actually talking about the noun. So when we name something, we don't want to only name it, because it will be very simple, right? So when we name something, we want to say also a characteristic of it. So you can talk about the origin of the object or the person. So you say it's a Mexican student. So you can talk about the shape of the thing. You say it's a round table. You can talk about the opinion of it, if you like it, if you don't like it. So you say it's a beautiful city. Okay, so all these words are adjectives. Now, why are they so relevant when we talk about when we're learning Spanish? Well, they're very relevant in Spanish because they have some type of agreement. These 3 types of words, they are like really close friends, and they are always like imitating each other. Like if the article is female, then the noun will be female, and vice versa, right? The noun, actually it all depends on the noun. If the noun is female, then the article will be female, and then the adjective will be female. If the noun is male, so accordingly the article will be male and the adjective will be male. So that happens in Spanish all the time. So, and that's one of the basic mistakes that students make when they are learning Spanish, because in other languages it doesn't matter. If you say it's a tall table, you can say for example, you can say it's a tall girl, or you can say it's a tall boy. So the girl and the boy are different, but the tall part, the tall word, the descriptive word doesn't change at all. However, in Spanish, it changes, and it changes when we talk about the number of the noun. If it's 1 or 2, if it's 1 or more than 2, if it's singular or plural, and it also changes when it's male or female. Okay, so let's take a look at these sentences. In these sentences, I'm going to read in Spanish. Of course, you have the translation below, and I want you to focus on the form of the words. Okay, specifically the ending. For example, in this one, we have el mesero alto. The 2 last words end with o. La computadora barata. The 3 words end with a. Las plumas rojas. In this case, we're talking about a plural sentence, and we have a. We have the a word, the a vowel at the end of each word. And then we have los vasos limpios. This is the clean glasses. It translates as to the clean glasses. It says los vasos limpios, means we have a plural and we have male words. So how to know this? Well, the number one thing is you need to know this. The notion of género and número. That would be gender and number. In Spanish, we say género. We have 2. We have masculino, which is the male, and femenino, which is a female. And we have número, which is number. We have singular and we have plural. So look, this is the thing in Spanish. Many nouns in Spanish end with an a or an o. So this is the basic thing. This is a very basic thing. So when you begin to learn Spanish, you will notice that many nouns, okay? Like you need to pay attention here. I'm talking about only nouns. They will end with a or an o. So this is a rule, kind of a rule, kind of a rule. We say a is the ending for female nouns, and o is the ending for male nouns. So most of the time that happens, okay? As I tell you, like it's kind of a rule. It's not really a rule because there are so many exceptions, but this is most of the time this happens. So it's a hint, it's a clue that you see, okay, it has an a, so this must be female, okay? It has an o, so this must be male. So let's take a look at these words. For example, we have the word casa, that's the word for house. And then mesa, that's table. Lámpara, that's lamp. Computadora, that's computer. All of them have a at the end. So guess what? These are female words. Now look, we have vaso, barco, helado, mesero. So those are the words for glass, for ship or for a boat, for helado, that's ice cream, and mesero, that's waiter. All of them have o, so these words are male. So what's going on here? Well, the article, the corresponding articles, you will see this in another video, but the corresponding article should be male if the noun is male, and if the noun is female, the article should be female. Same thing happens with the adjective, and same thing happens with the number. If the noun is plural, the adjective should be plural and the article should be plural. And the same thing with singular. If you have only one thing, if you have a noun and you're referring to only one thing, so you say it's singular, so the article is singular and the adjective is singular. This doesn't happen in other languages, but in Spanish it happens always. So let's take a look at this. It says some words can change their gender. These words change their gender wherever it's very specific that you have male and female, such as human beings or animals. For example, you say niño or niña. Well, it's very clear that you can have a male, you can have a boy, you can have a girl. You have gato, gata, hermano or hermana. These are words for niño is boy, niña is girl, gato is it's a male cat, and gata is a female cat. Hermano, it's brother, and hermana is sister. And other nouns cannot change their gender, specifically when we talk about objects and things, everyday things. Like, for example, you cannot have like table, like the word for table. We say mesa. So we say, how am I going to know if it's a male or female? So this is a matter of checking the word. So you need to look at the word and you say it has an a at the end. So most probably, I'm telling you, 90% of the times this will be a female word because it has a at the end, mesa. And then you see the word vaso. So most of the time it would be male because it has an o at the end. Okay. So these words doesn't change. So there is not such a thing like you say mesa and then you say meso. Totally wrong. It doesn't exist. The word meso doesn't exist in Spanish. Or vaso and basa doesn't exist. I mean, you cannot have a female cup, a female glass. You cannot have a male table and a female table. That's not like really like logical, So when you are dealing with nouns, you will find also some irregular nouns, such as these ones. For example, such as this. Sorry, you have la pared, el hospital, el agua, and el mar. Why they have different forms? Well, because the ending is totally different. They don't have an a, they don't have an o. However, they have an article at the beginning. So you say, if it has a male article, then the noun is male. If it has a female article, then the noun is female. So don't forget, use words in sentences. If you use the word in a sentence, it will be easier for you to remember. You have to memorize irregular ones, those nouns that don't end with a or o. And remember the golden rule. If the noun is male, the rest is male. If the noun is female, well, the rest is female. I hope this video was useful. And if you have any question, you can ask me during the lesson. Thank you very much.